Om Dhanvantare Namaha. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Shilpa, second year Panchakarma PG scholar. Taranath Government Ayurvedic Medical College and Hospital welcomes you to the Karma Sadhana 14th webinar session organized by Department of Post-Graduation Panchakarma. It's my privilege to welcome you all to this great session on significance of laboratory investigations in Panchakarma by Dr. KSR Prasad sir. First of all, I would like to welcome our beloved Principal Ma'am, Dr. Syed Akhtar Fatima Ma'am, Chief Advisor, Dr. Rajshekhar Ganigir sir, HOD Department of Dravaguna. Today's guest speaker, Dr. KSR Prasad sir, Professor and HOD, Department of Panchakarma, LN Ayurvedic College and Hospital, Bhopal. Organizing Secretary, Dr. Todbasaya Kendadmet sir, Professor and HOD, Department of Panchakarma. And coordinators, Dr. Rajesh Subur sir, Dr. Shilpa Shri ma'am, Dr. Trishaila ma'am. And I also welcome all the participants. Dr. K. Shivram Prasad sir's presence itself is inspiring to us, and it's my privilege and honor to introduce our today's guest speaker, Dr. KSR Prasad sir. Sir was born and brought up in Andhra Pradesh in 1960. Sir has pursued his undergraduate degree and MD in the Department of Kaya Chikitsa from Osmania University, Hyderabad in 1989, and PhD in Astrodiagnosis from Potti Sri Ramalu Telugu University, Hyderabad in 2017. Currently, sir is working as Professor and HOD Department of Panchakarma in LN Ayurvedic College and Hospital, Bhopal. Having teaching experience of 22 years, sir has also authored 3 textbooks and has been an editor of 2 textbooks. Sir has published nearly 42 articles and has his own impressive contribution in this immense field of Ayurveda. Sir has also been awarded with Ayur Mitra, one of the elite achievements from Ayurveda Development Research Foundation, Puttur, Karnataka. Apart from these contributions, sir has a fondness in languages and astrology, being MA in Jyotish Shastra from Potti Sri Ramalu Telugu University, Hyderabad, and has learned Sanskrit from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Bombay, and German COP from Osmania University and Central Institute of English and Foreign Languages. Once again, I welcome you, sir. With this brief introduction, I over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here in Taranath Ayurvedic Medical College webinars under the able guidance of Principal Dr. Syed Akhtar Fatima and Head Panchakarma Dr. Todbasaya Kendadmet and the coordinator Shilpa Shri. Whenever the Bellary is in memory, it carries very good memory, and I recollect the stalwarts of the Ayurveda, my friends and colleagues also. Dr. Ishwar Reddy, Dr. Nagareddy, and Dr. Anjaneya Murthy. These 3 people, they made the Bellary a very notable and notorious. Coming to present today topic in the series of the Panchakarma, now I would like to share the screen of mine. Can you see the screen? Hello? Whether the screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Today's my topic, significance of laboratory investigations in Panchakarma at Karma Sadhana National Webinar from the Taranath Government Ayurvedic Medical College of Bellary on 19th June 2020 will carry in new dimensions and approaches, and it is a thought-provoking ideology to get started with. First and foremost, whenever we are going to make ourselves to do something, Rogamado Pariksheta Tattva Mantra Moksha, without the diagnosis of a disease, we do not have any further approaches to treat any individual disease. As the patient is approaching any OPD, we need to differentiate between the health healthy and disease condition. Why so? Because the Panchakarma is provided for the healthy people to get or achieve more health and for the disease to be pacified. The Ayurveda from the beginning adopted many diagnostic tools such as the Dasarita Pariksha, Ashtasthana Pariksha, Pachilakshmi Nidana Pariksha, etc. But in the 21st century, we are facing challenges from the contemporary medical systems and practices, and we need to go for the fast and furious, accurate, and easy approach diagnostic tools which could be reproducible according to Ayurveda principles. That will be a very big task. A crossroad philosophy, I just recollect from almost 1990s onwards, we were discussing about the crossroad philosophy in Ayurveda. As this is going to have four modalities or four-fold system. The first one is Ayurvedic diagnosis and Ayurvedic treatment is universal, accepted and ideal for the Ayurveda. The second is Ayurvedic diagnosis and allopathic treatment, which is not going to be fit and we are lacking diagnostics. And third one is allopathic diagnosis and allopathic treatment.
Sir, sorry
It's
to
not
interrupt.
acceptable for our
Sorry, sir. Sorry to interrupt, sir.
Sir?
Sir, your
Hello?
voice is not clear.
Hello?
Sir, sorry, sir. Voice is not clear, sir.
My voice is now, are you able to get?
Yes, now okay, sir.
Now okay. Okay.
Yes. Sorry, sir.
Now I would like to speak about the crossroad philosophy. As this crossroad philosophy was under discussion for a long time, which is going to be with Ayurvedic diagnosis, Ayurvedic treatment, which is ideal for the Ayurvedic community. Wherein the Ayurvedic diagnosis and allopathic treatment, which is not going to fit into the things. The third one is going to be allopathic diagnosis and allopathic treatment, which is not applicable for the Ayurvedic field at all. The last one is allopathic
Sorry, sir.
diagnosis and Ayurvedic
Hello, sir.
treatment. Hello?
Hello, sir. Hello,
Hello?
sir. Huh, sir. Can you remove the earphone, sir? Little bit disturbance is there, sir. Participants are not able to hear.
Without earphone, shall I speak?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you just try.
Okay, sir.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Not, sir.
Okay, then I'll continue with the same. So here we come across with the fourfold crossroad philosophy, which out of allopathic diagnosis and Ayurvedic treatment is said to be the most perfect one, which is going to be adaptable for the present day situation. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the question of this fourfold crossroad philosophy has to be enumerated and we have to go further. We have to understand a little background of these investigations as much possible. There are more than 4,000 different diagnostic tests available as on today. There are highly skilled technicians, specialized personnel are going to interpret the sophisticated methods drawn result in the laboratories. There are serious challenges exist within also. First one is the drug administration clearance. The second is evidence demonstration for the safety and effectiveness. The third one is the cost effectiveness of the test even. The ultimate principle out of this is only screening, monitoring, and diagnosing. Following ICPC, it is International Classification of the Primary Care Codes, and recommended investigations are more necessary in this regard. What are these investigations? Investigations are the procedures that involve testing a sample of blood, urine, or other material from the body under physics and chemistry scientific principles with reproducible parameters. These investigations are helpful to determine a diagnosis, a plan of management, or otherwise to check if the treatment is properly working or not, otherwise prognostic in nature, and monitoring the disease over time is the evaluation of the condition. Now, this diagnostic test to be understood. It is a procedure performed to confirm or determine the presence of a disease in an individual suspected or having a particular disease. Usually, it is prescribed after the interrogation and examination of a patient, keeping in view of the derived signs and symptoms or any other observations. For example, using the molecular diagnostic test to examine a patient suspected for having a lymphoma or a particular genetic disorder. These investigations grossly come across as pathological investigations like urine, etc., hematological investigations, CBC, ESR, etc., biochemical investigations, RBS, blood urea, etc., and serological investigations like TRIDOT and others. Radiological investigations, microbiological investigations, and nuclear medicine investigations. Out of these many investigations, the cost effectiveness is going to play lots of the role. Why should and where should we order a laboratory test is also important to know. There are 4 legitimate reasons to order a particular laboratory test. If at all we want to make a diagnosis or to rule out or to rule in a particular diagnosis. A monitoring, otherwise how the effect of the drug is or the therapy is going to be there. This is the most important. Rather, we are mostly diagnosing and monitoring could be adaptable in Ayurveda. The third is the screening. The congenital hypothyroidism or etc., thyroxine testings etc. to be made out as a screening test. Or otherwise in a mass media, we are just screening. Nowadays, COVID is being screened. Whenever there is an epidemic pandemic, we can screen many of the people for the test positive or negative results. And the fourth one is the research to understand the pathophysiology of a particular disease process and how we can make some of the Vigatana event. Now, I just want to show you here some of the things, a test purpose and examples of the different tests which we are going to get considered. A general chemistry which we are commonly measuring the blood components or the body components, urine, calcium, HbA1c, etc. And in immunochemistry, we are going to make the antibody antigen reactions in the body, like tumor markers or HIV antibodies or the antibody susceptibilities and etc. etc. Hematology and cytology, when we come across, we have the CBC, coagulation test, Pap smear test, etc. And the microbiology, specifically, we are going to go with a particular organism, a cultural sensitivity or a bacterial sensitivity, etc. In the molecular, which is going to very specifically study DNA or RNA, is a genetic sequential, and there we have the n number of the examples for the molecular medicine to be applied in particular. Now, exactly where we stand, the Ayurveda stand in this entire, and what sort of the approaches we are going to follow in the management of the Ayurveda is a question. When we go through our practices, we come across commonly a dosha-oriented medical management, a vyadhi-oriented medical management, lakshana-oriented medical management, and arishta-oriented medical management. Otherwise, vyadhi-hara chikitsa, dosha-hara chikitsa, lakshana-hara chikitsa, and arishta-hara chikitsa. Now, let us examine one after the other how these those components of the 4, which we are examining in the diagnostic, using as a diagnostic tools, are going to be there. To assess the dosha, we are considering the Prakriti and the Nadi, these 2. When we are looking at the Prakriti assessment, Prakriti is a unique and from the birth. It is a non-pathological entity or considered as a genetic entity. Second is the Nadi Pariksha, which commonly observed as a diagnostic tool for understanding a pathological condition of the disease. It is a cardiac output blood impulse interpreted to the pathological alterations of the motion. This test which we are understanding and making a very specific investigation are a process of the diagnostic tool. What biochemical or laboratory investigation has been identified till now are in vogue for the dosha assessment are very unfortunately none. So after the dosha, when we come with the vyadhi, yes, of course, a disease evaluation is basically a dosha dusha sammochana. Here dosha already we come across. The dosha we have to understand and dosha dusha sammochana we have to establish. The diseases commonly are nanatvaja and samanyaja, which we know. These disease diagnosis with through the Panchalakshan Nidana. Yes, this Panchalakshan Nidana is being applied. The state of disease is assessed to confirm through the Ashtasthana Pariksha, Nadi Mudram Malam Jihva, etc. And we go with the prognostic also, based on the signs and symptoms of our Ashtasthana. All these Lakshanas symptoms could be brought under the measurable units and very specifically to develop or converting the present day diagnostic tools is very comfortable and lab techniques to apply for the disease principles is acceptable. Now the third one is the Lakshana, a symptom. Say for example, any symptom is a disease, any disease can be a symptom. This is what our statement of the Ayurveda. Jwara is a tapa. Whenever there is a rise of the temperature is there, at the time the jwara is going to be calculated. It can be measurable. When it is measurable either of the way, centigrade, Fahrenheit, Kelvins, Rankines or Renomers, whatsoever may be the units of the measurement, it can be measurable repeatedly and it could be observed repeatedly. The Arishta and investigations when we go with the Arishta, the complications also symptoms and signs. Hereby, all these symptoms and signs are measurable. Many a time a clinician is going to understand the body prognosis of the disease through the electrolytes and the PO2 and PCO2 to assess the Arishta condition of the individual person. The adaptations of these measurable units required in Ayurveda for the validation of the Arishta symptoms. The perceptual explanations of the Arishta Lakshanas. Why the perceptual, I use the word is, in Arishta Lakshanas there are dreams, there are anosmias, paraspmias, hyperaspmias. These are being said as the one of the Arishta Lakshanas in Ayurveda. These Lakshanas which are said to be the subjective are to be made as the objective even, and the validation has to be done and experimentation has to be done with the suitable parameters, all these signs and symptoms to be converted into a proper, comfortable, measurable parameters or investigations. Now, when we are speaking about the Prakriti, I would like to draw small attention about the Prakriti. There are many misconceptions about the Prakriti. I am just put forth here my ideology about the Prakriti. Prakriti could be translated as a constitution. Constitution is of the three varieties as per the understanding. The first one is the birth time inherited fixed genetic Purusha, that is constitution. And the second one is a diseased rogi constitution. This is going to get altered, either the environment or food. And third is disease constitution, Vyadhi constitution. Otherwise, this is said to be the measurable with acquired metabolism or external origination. So, here I would like to make out, we do not consider the birth time constitution for evaluating a disease in either of the way, like the Nadi Pariksha also. In a clinical situation, we need to evaluate the presence of the Chatushpada. Chatushpada, out of that very specifically the medicine or the procedural effect has to be evaluated. Say, we in term, the constitution we are speaking, it is a constitution of the Rogi, constitution of the Vyadhi, and constitution of the Dravya even. Dravya Pravritti and the Dravya Prakriti has to be understood and it has to be brought into a measurable unit under the Rasa Panchaka or constituent evaluation. Now, when we are focusing on the Prakriti, The Prakriti could be made out or could be understood and illustrated as the genetic demographic data, and it could be of Jati, Kala, Desha, Kula, and Vaya, and Pratyatmiyata. This Jati is a racial problem. Kula is familial problems, and sometimes even occupational also to be get included. Desha refers to a particular area or country where the person is born and living, and Kala is seasonal and circadian influences, and Vaya is going to be related with the pathological manifestations, aging and age related. Pratyatmiyata is understood as a very fundamental physiological constitution of an individual. So, the question of assessment is there. Whenever the question of assessment is going to be there, the evaluation of and assessment of the investigation in Ayurveda can be grouped as a disease diagnostic or progression, a disease prognostic or risk or the arishta, health restoration or swastha, paribhasha, restoration, drug action assessment, Dravya Prabhava assessment, and process effect evaluation or Parasuddhi of the Panchakarma validation. Ultimately, they are going to be either diagnostic, prognostic, or effect validative investigative tools. Now, diagnostic and prognostic. Many serological investigations we come across which are disease centered, right, etc. The cardiac profile or the blood test which we are making, like troponin or CKMB and HSCRP, all these are very specifically a particular organ and a disease oriented. The liver function test which we are making is very specifically organ centered to understand a prognostic or a diagnostic condition. As for the disease diagnosis and prognosis and assessment is concerned, it is a concern that without contemporary laboratory techniques and to utilize them as a markers is very much necessary. Now, I want to make a small focus on different use of the diagnostic test, how we could use it. Whenever there is any asymptomatic disease or a see, the Ayurveda to require a set of investigations or measurable parameters assisting the medicine and procedure. So this output cannot be mere symptomatic. And hello, can you hear? Hello, hello.
Yes, sir, you are
Hello?
audible, sir.
Hello, audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. See, this assessing this prabhava is also necessary. The prabhava also should be a measurable parameter like the Jwarahara property, Mutrala property, Hrudya property, and in terms of the parameters. In Panchakarma, when we are coming across, we have the color shruti for the each and every procedure as in a nutshell and a holistic approach. This holistic approach of the Panchakarma procedure has to be brought to be into the measurable units. Now, I would like to give a small example of the differential count initially. Differential count, many people just see and they throw it off. They say this is not a big issue, but differential count is going to give a lots of the information. For example, we just say total neutrophils and lymphocytes. When we are taking, if the total neutrophils are going to get increased, that means this is a very specifically acute bacterial infection. In case of the stress, psychological disorders also neutrophils are being increased. In case of the pregnancy, in case of the inflammation, especially like IBS and rheumatoid arthritis, the neutrophils is going to be there. And in traumatic conditions also, it is being decreased. When it is being decreased, especially aplastic anemia, neutropenia, or when the infection is going to be very chronic and recent chemotherapies or any radiation therapy, etc. These commons, these conditions, if at all we are going to keep in the mind, we can understand neutrophiliosis, how it is going to be effective in the body. Lymphocytosis. Whenever lymphocytosis is there, we can understand it is a compulsory a chronic bacterial infection. Especially it would be referred to that of the hepatitis condition also, or a multiple myeloma. Even common infections of the mumps and measles when it is going to be chronic, then also. And in lymphocytic leukemia or lymphoma, etc. conditions, they are going to be there. And they are decreased in HIV, tuberculosis, hepatitis infections, and bone marrow damage. Whenever there is the lymphocytes decrease is there, we can consider the asti dhatu kshaya, the bone marrow damage and injury to it with them. And thereby we can understand the way only because of the neutrophils and lymphocytes also how this disease condition is going to be get precipitated what we have. If we go through for the monocytes and eosinophils and basophils, the monocytes increase is going to be there in any chronic inflammation, especially we can just see, say, there is a iatrogenic or a hepatomegaly or splenomegaly. In splenomegaly, hepatomegaly conditions, it is a very common to have the monocytes. In many of the cancers, monocytes, if at all you see more than that of the 5 or 4 monocytes in the blood, you can suspect a pre-cancerous state even, a collagen vascular disease or such as lupus vasculitis or even the rheumatoid arthritis. Monocytosis is a very common. Eosinophils are going to be known, absolute eosinophilic count also going to be made for any of the allergic conditions, allergic disorders. And even the infestation, not only the infection, even the parasite infestation, tumors. We commonly look this eosinophilia in a different condition only for the nasorespiratory tract, but in a abdominal tumors when they are going to be increased, or in a parasite when there is there, then also the eosinophilia is going to be there. And common is whenever there is a eosinophilia, gastrointestinal disorders are going to be there with, and histamine is being affected. See how oft our Ayurvedic people, when we say Tamakaswasa is Amasaya Samutthana, in Tamakaswasa or in asthmatic condition, there will be a rise of the eosinophilia. The gastrointestinal disorder, there will be eosinophilia. And for the eosinophilia, our acharyas, what has suggested is the Vamana. The gastrointestinal disorder causes the eosinophilia, and skin inflammatory disorders also can cause. That means for the skin inflammation, gait disorders, parasite, and allergic disorders, all these things they require the Vamana and Virechana, which is specifically told by the Ayurveda as Amasa Samutthana Vyadis has to be treated very specifically with the Vamana, and Pakwasa Samutthana or Pittasthana Samutthana is going to be treated with the Virechana. This particular slide of where the Panchakarma, before initiation of the Panchakarma, what we are doing, what we have to do is the thing which we are making it out. Now let me speak how this is going to be and what are the things which we have to start or make before the Panchakarma investigations. As we come across importance of the hemoglobin and importance of the differential count out of these previous two examples, and the vital examination which we have to follow. We start with the very common minimal investigations, mandatory. Hemoglobin and differential count are the mandatory investigations to start before Panchakarma. After that, we are going to make the vital examination of the BP, pulse, age, gender, and BMI, weight, height, etc. as a parameters to be noted and to be observed. Apart from a temperature measurement is also very necessary, and a pain scale, because without pain, there will be no patient is going to come for our clinic. Most of the time, whatever we are doing, the management is only the pain management. So we have to understand the physical pain and psychological pain in a 0 to 10 grade. Then it is going to be very comfortable for ourselves to assess a particular condition holistically. Next slide, please. Here, we come across with this Snehana. When we are looking at this Snehana, Sneha Karma, commonly a question of what sort of investigations has to be brought forwarded apart from this hemoglobin and differential count. The Sneha is a clada related. Thereby, the random blood sugar is one of the most important things which we have to make in case of the Snehana when we are doing it. Why and how this random blood sugar is helpful for assessing a Sneha karma and a Sneha karma before to that by making a random blood sugar, how it is going to be useful for us. A person whoever is of the diabetic in nature or the hyperglycemia in condition, whenever this hyperglycemia condition is going to be there, this is going to hinder the fat metabolism and thereby the fats which we are giving as in form of this Snehapana or Vakya also sometimes, they are going to make a free fatty acids increase, thereby this uncloseness in the body is going to be giving a negative impact over a disease and also to the patient. That's why whenever there is a hyperglycemic conditions are going to be there, or under the controlled glycemic conditions only we have to do the panchakarma, especially Snehapana. But a person with uncontrolled glucose levels are contraindicated for the Snehapana. This is one thing which we have to observe. Of course, whatever I am speaking, further my personal and experience is bad, and there are no specific papers have been published yet. The interested candidates can do in this particular aspect how these sugars are going to impart the Snehapana. Otherwise, this sort of whether we have to totally ignore this diabetic people from the Snehapana and Panchakarma. No, for them, we can go for the suggest Snehapana. Instantaneous Snehapana, which we are making only one day, and the second day we are going to make out comfortably either the Vamana or the Virechana typically. Now the second is the cholesterol, lipid profile in total. The good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, HDL is said to be good enough. And this is going to promote the entire. And whenever there is hypercholesteremia, especially the LDL, VLDL are going to be there, it is going to make the hemoglobin percentage less and oxygenation less. Thereby, this is going to give an indication that particular Snehapana, whether it is going to make out or not is the question. Now, this LDL and VLDL, how they are going to give a problem is whenever the Snehamsa is going to be circulating in the blood, the HDL and VLDLs are going to make this Sneha, instead of making a dosha, Vighatana, Vilayana, it is going to make dosha Sanghata. Thereby, whenever the person is going to be hyperlipidemic in nature, first of all, we have to go with the Deepana Pachana rather than the topic. Many times it is a question whether Deepana Pachana is mandatory for all the people. No. Whenever there is a AMA condition is being observed, either because of the LDL and VLDL cholesterols or otherwise the random blood sugar increase, these conditions we can consider with the AMA. At the time, we must and should go with the Deepana and Pachana, then after the Snehapana. If a person who is not with and a comfortable and not having any sort of the problem and healthy person, these people are going to be given comfortably this Snehapana 3 days, 5 days, 7 days accordingly. And later it is going to be one more thing whenever we are going to make this Snehapana, which we have to observe is the lipid profile. Why this lipid profile is going to be get observed? The lipid profile is otherwise the assessment of the Bhutagni, and thereby Bhutagni is going to be measured. And in the fat analysis, very specifically, and fat to digest and fat to make itself its functions of the Sneha karma, they are going to be necessary a proper bile and bile output, whereby whether to ensure that there is a proper agri of the Panchabhutika and otherwise the Pachaka agri. This lipid profile is said to be the one of the important before this Sneha. A person who is having a less bile output is going to be reflective in the lipid profile. That's why we have to undertake the second is the lipid profile. This is a mandatory examination or investigation before the office. The third is going to be commonly making a blood urea and hemoglobin. Hemoglobin already we come across as a mandatory test before to that of the any of the Panchakarma. That's why this hemoglobin is going to impact the oxygen concentrations in the blood. We need to have a oxygen concentrations measurable through pulse oximeter in each and every karma. I have examined this Vamana karma pulse oximeter. Yet the initial before to that of the Vamana, when the pulse oximeter is showing 96 or 95, is going to be shown after the Vamana karma as a 98 and 99. Thereby, the VO2 concentrations are going to be measurable. Here, the blood urea is once again is a nitrogenous waste material which is of the water soluble to be let out is also ama. That means before to of the Snehapana and the Panchakarma, we are making ourselves. The first one is the Kleda through the blood sugar, and Meda through that of the cholesterol or the lipid profile, and Agri through the LFT, which we are making comfortable, and through that of the hemoglobin percentage estimation, we are understanding how this particular oxygen capacity in a blood flow is going to be there, and unless the condition, whatever our fats consumed are not being digested and oxidized, we are not going to get the further effect of dosha vilayana and the dosha vichedana in terms of the what Snehapana is going to perform. Unless dosha vilayana is not going to be there, they cannot be brought into the body. Thereby, in terms of the Kleda, Meda, Agri, and the oxygen capacities and AMA, we have to make these conditions, these examinations as a measurable parameter before the Snehapana. How we are going to assess this Snehapana is the question once again. We categorically go with the two things. One is the Samyak Snigdha Lakshanas, where the proper Snigdhata is going to be there. Second is with the Ati Snigdhata as a complicated case. If it is of the Samyak Snigdhata, when we are making it out, the Agri Deepti. Now, Agri Deepti is referred to the of the LFT. Second is the Sneha Dvesha. The Sneha Dvesha is going to be because whenever there is a overloaded of the fat in the circulation, there will be a Sneha Dvesha. This could be understood with that of the total cholesterol or the lipid profile. And Drava Malata. This Drava Malata is going to be a sign of when where the water soluble blood urea is not only through that of the urine, it is going to be get excreted through that of the fecal material also. At that time, the Drava Malata is going to be get observed. The fourth one is Sarira Lakavata and Snigdhatva, and the Vatanulomanam. These things, when we are looking, how are these investigations which are referred to that of the our particular subject with the Lakshanas could be understood in a very, very comfortable way. Now, the Atisnigdha symptoms, let us observe here. Pandu. Whenever there is Atisnigdhata, immediately it is going to impact on the hemoglobin, and by understanding the percentage of the hemoglobin, we can understand the Panduta. If the hemoglobin reduction after the Snehapana is there, that means there is a Panduta could be made out. The second is Sharira Gauravata. Of course, it is a weight measurement and comfortability. And Gauravata is not only not exactly referring with the weight, but it is with alasa, and as the person is lethargic in nature. Apatvapurisha, it is going to be because of the stagnation of the blood urea or uric acids into the blood circulation. And Tandra is going to be because of the more cholesterol and fat circulated. And Aruchi is not going to be, it is going to be because of the less production of the less evacuations, and ultimately Budasrava and Daha is going to be there because of the other components which are going to be there. This is for the how we propose the investigations are to be converted for the Ayurvedic concepts, and how they are going to be evaluated is the question. Now, second, let us go with the external. Now, till now we have gone with only internal or the Abhyanga, internal or the Snehapana. The second is the Bhakya Sneh Karma, which is Abhyanga. Say, in Abhyanga, when we are making it out, very specifically, I try to evaluate, even in my book also I have made the same thing. Why these investigations, hemoglobin percentage, already we come across how this hemoglobin percentage is going to impact. And differential count, we have discussed in a very vivid way. But here, whenever there is Abhyanga is to be done, it is, I prefer to go with the absolute histophilic count, because absolute histophilic count is going to speak about the skin sensitivity and skin allergic conditions, where in which through Abhyanga or by Abhyanga we are making the medicine to be imparted into the drug, thereby into the systems. Because even for the say, Dalahana has already given, it is going to take Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Meda. There is a time boundness of the Matra Kala and Dinakala. Thereby, this Matra Dinakala to observe, the AEC is one of the best measure how we can make our drug effect evaluated, and how this, whether there is any Tvagata Ama or not, is to be evaluated through that of the absolute. Of course, we are going to make the fasting at random, or the blood sugars is one more thing. It is preferred to go with the random blood sugar for the non or diabetic people fasting and post lunch together. And we are going to prefer much of the Abhyangas through to apply as per the musculoskeletal system is concerned. Otherwise, there is a Marma Panchakarma or Marma Abhyanga. In case of the Marma Abhyanga, we are going to make a different strokes and different areas. So this absorption into the skin is the first and foremost which we are supposed to make it out. Here, I would like to bring into your notice how it has to be made out is, here also I have considered the Samyak Abhyanga and Samyak Siro Abhyanga, even for the head also, and Samyak Padhaghata. Three Lakshanas, it is three different areas how we are going to make and how we could emphasize the condition has been brought here. Okay, in case of the Samyak Abhyanga symptoms, which we see the muscle spasm relief and improved posture, improved body activity, loss of fatigue, reduced stress, and reduced blood pressure. Here, the catch points are the spasm. Spasm is going to be because of the lactic acid. The lactic acid measurability is also one of the better things. Before to the Abhyanga and after the Abhyanga, this is for the research attitude. But for the disease conditions, when we are making a disease parameters has to be measured. And here, whatever I am speaking of the parameters, which are investigations, are referred to for the only procedural measurable investigation, but not for the disease. For the disease, whatever the disease referral investigation has to be measured in a whole. Here, very specifically to measure the Abhyanga effect, I am speaking. Here, whenever we are thinking of the skin, we have to think even the thyroid also. Even T3, T4, TSH becomes very important because the fatigue and stress and lethargicness, these conditions are referred to the thyroid profile. And spasm is comfortably could be made out. As we have come across in differential count, the polymorphosis is infectious condition, inflammatory conditions. Whenever there is acute inflammatory conditions, then we see the pain. These pain conditions are going to be with the polymorphosis. And if it is of the chronic condition, lymphocytosis. Thereby we can understand and we can make out these things. And the absorbability could be measured through the absolute eosinophilic count. Let us see the Abhyanga symptoms. Here, the lightness of the head, pain relief, improved activity, and loss of fatigue, stress, and improved sleep. See, abruptly, these conditions are going to be either referral whether of the thyroid profile or the sugars or otherwise the hemoglobin and differential count ADs. The same way, Samyak Pada Abhyanga, when we see fatigue once again, and pain, foot pain, relieves foot pain, and relieves the sickness. Sickness is because of the lactic acid. Only the question is, we have to look forward what are the investigations which are comfortably available within our circuit. Whatever I have proposed investigation, these are available everywhere, commonly done, thereby we can assess very commonly. So the assessment of this Pada Abhyanga, Siro Abhyanga, and Gatra Abhyanga, all these things are going to be very comfortably assessed with the hemoglobin, AEC, DC, sugar, blood sugar, and thyroid profile. If necessary, sometimes X-ray of the local part, and thereby it can be made. Next, after the Abhyanga, let us discuss with the Vamana. The Vamana karma is one of the major. Even though in the West there is lots of the Panchakarma is being focused, that doesn't want to go with the Vamana karma. When I was there in Germany for 2 years, the people were not ready to undergo with the Vamana karma. They were ready for the Virechana and other things. Basti also. Here, this Vamana karma, whenever we are doing, this is a really a risky process because many a times it is a question how this Vamana karma to be assessed. To be frank, even though we have conducted so much of the Vamanas, 90% of the Vamanas are said to be either with the Vyapak or with the Ayoga. But why I am stating is Samyak Vamana, this is a typical thing. Many a times we observe the blood stains. Many times we observe the different things. I have gone through in my things. There are different colored of the Vamanas which have come across. I have observed the black Vamana. I have observed the green Vamana. I have observed the pink Vamana. I have observed the different colors of the Vamanas. So, looking at these Vamana colors also is going to, this is of the virtual in nature. But we can bring those things with a suitable, measurable, comfortable parameter also. Every time it may not be possible. Here, for the Vamana investigations which we are going to make is, apart from the investigations, a Koshta examination is also going to be, or Ayurvedic methodology of the examination is also going to be comfortable here. Here in the investigations, once again, HB percentage and differential count are mandatory. Blood sugars are going to be done very comfortably. Always, all the time, it is better to estimate the Sarira Kleda. And thyroid profile optional and lung function test is optional in case of the woman. But ECG is a mandatory because many times I have seen a patient, though who are going to complain a cardiac choke-like condition. If at all a person who is having any cardiac problem, it is specifically contraindicated in the woman should not be done for them. That's why to ensure it is always preferable and we have to take the acceptance of the cardiologist whether this person can be undertaken for the Vamana condition or not. And under the Ayurvedic examination, a koshta, a Mrudu koshta, Madhyama koshta, Agri, Prakriti, Bala, Mutra, Twak has to be enumerated. Disease and diseased Prakriti is also necessary. Whatever we have discussed earlier has to be followed as a routine methodology of the examination. As for the investigation, very specifically, disease investigation has to be brought out apart from the hemoglobin, differential count, random blood sugar, ECG mandatory, thyroid profile, and lung function tests are optional. Now, let us have an observation over the Vyapas. Jivadana, coming blood out of, is a very common thing. Body pains and stambha. Stambha, Shirasula, Jwara. These conditions, stambha is people interpret in a different way. I prefer the stambha is like a muscle catch. The muscle cramps are going to be there with this stambha of the muscular area, especially abdominal muscles, are going to be. So, this is a visual symptom. Out of these tapas, there are no measurable components which we have got. And in the samyak, the pittanta, laghavata, Udpashva Indriya Suddhi, and lack of salivation. Now, question is how to examine a saliva, and this saliva could be undertaken as one of the good parameters for the Vamana to assess. But as a saliva is commonly said to excrete heavy metal toxins like lead, mercury, and etc., and also bacterial debris which are filled in the circulation. Thereby, this sort of the heavy metal toxicity or any bacterial toxicity is going to be secreted in the mouth. The kapacha vyadhi is going to be specifically told. Whenever there is a high molecular debris or molecules of the components of a chemical nature, both are all are said to be the excreted through only the saliva. Even the COVID virus, say for example, present situation, the COVID virus is being spread through the, and it could be very easily identified through the sticky gummatous saliva in the mouth. If a person is having, when he is opening the mouth tantuva, or salivas are going to come as a tantu, or when he is spitting out, the spit is not going to go for far place. At the time, we can understand the person is going to have a kapaja vyadhi, and thereby this Vamana indicated, and this Vamana indicated person is going to speak very specifically with the any sort of the heavy metal intoxications or otherwise any bacterial exudates. These things could be very comfortably understood and it could be made out. A saliva examination, if we can make mandatory before to the top, as like ECG, in the case of the Vamana, is said to be one of the best one. Next comes as Ayogya. Out of this, we have the common symptoms, and thereby it doesn't require any sort of the specific investigation. In Atiyoga also, we get no much measurable components, thereby we have to observe with the following things. Now, next comes as a Virechana. Like the Vamana, the Virechana is also Koshtagatatva. Here we go with the hemoglobin percentage, differential count, random blood sugar, ECG, and serum electrolytes. You may ask now, why the ECG? Whereas in case of the Vamana, there is a cardiac involvement. Here, Virechana. The Virechana ECG is also necessary because when we are specifically taking out the body water components, the hypovolemia of a particular condition which is generated can cause a shock. That's why it is preferred even for the village HPDC, RBS and ECG. And apart from that, we have to go with the serum electrolytes very specifically potassium. So if the sodium in the circulation is going to be higher, a temporary potassium which is going to be brought into the interstitial compartment in time at the time of the virechana can alter the situation. That's why we are going to make a drain of the much sodium in case of the virechana, potassium in case of the vamana. That's why this sodium and potassium measurability in vamana and virechana are going to be mandated. Rest of the vyapaks which we are going to see, in this we can make out of the investigations made out. A samyak virechana symptoms also going to be Agnidipti, Laghavata, etc. Are the ayoga conditions of the virechana, Cherti, etc. These are mostly seen as a symptomatic which could not be made out. And there, whenever there is ayoga, we have to consider the ayoga of the dravya and also ayoga of the patient, ayoga of the rutu also. Out of these conditions, whenever we are looking at, we make most of the measurable conditions. This time in this lecture, I did not brought the Basti measurabilities because Basti measurabilities are going to be exclusively different and the total Basti investigations require an exclusive other lecture. That's why I did not include the Basti here. And thereby, here I make out Neha, Vamana, Virechana. The Sneha of the Bhakya, Bhankara and Vamana Virechana, 4 Panchakarma procedures focused here how investigations are helpful for, and thereby we can make it out. Now, the time of conclusion. It is fair to conclude that we have to develop or adopt the investigations and methodology to obtain accuracy in diagnosis with reproducible objective parameters of the assessment. The Panchakarma assessment is based upon either the reversal of the dosha to normalcy, organs to their functions, or tissues their utility. So, establishing the evidence-based Ayurveda medicine, we need to follow laboratory investigations in Ayurveda. This is what I try to conclude here. Thank you very much. I can answer your questions right now.
Thank you, sir, for enriching us with the significance of laboratory investigations in Panchakarma.
Okay.
Now there are some questions, sir.
Yes, please.
From Dr. Shruti, significance of spirometry in planning of any Panchakarma procedure.
Yeah, it's a very nice question. Spirometry is very specifically used in case of the Abhyanga. And why? Because whenever there is a Vaggata or the Kapasthana Amasya, these two conditions, that means the Vamana and Abhyanga, these two are going to be showing a remarkable measurements in case of the spirometry. Because the spirometry is going to show the variations of the oxygen and also vital capacity. The vital capacity referral diseases are to be opted for the spirometry to be measurable component or measurable investigation. But using the spirometry in Kvagata Vikaras and also the Vamana conditions show a different aspect of Ayurveda, how these spirometric results are going to be observable, or they can be accelerated and they can be brought into the normalcies because of these Ayurvedic procedures of the Abhyanga and Vamana. It is very much necessary to use. Hello. Next question.
Thank you, sir. Next question from Dr. Uday. Percentage of drug absorption in Abhyanga, sir.
Percentage of the drug absorption.
Yes, sir.
As far the drug absorption is concerned, there is already one paper has been published. It is commonly estimated a person whoever unmoistened skin, if Abhyanga is done for the unmoistened skin, for them it is 6 to 8% absorbable. But if the same person is moistened with a water before to that of the Abhyanga, that means the patient is being sponged with the cold water before to that of the Abhyanga, at that time the absorbability of the drug is up to 18 to 22%. So the drug absorption, further, it is very specifically required to moisten the skin. Next question, please.
Thank you, sir. Is there any blood investigations before labor treatment from Dr. Gadilinga? Is there any blood investigations before labor treatment, sir?
I could not hear you. Before to?
Is there any blood investigations before labor treatment, sir?
Before labor?
Yes, sir.
Actually, labor is done on the skin. Thereby, all the Abhyanga related investigations has to be incorporated. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Next question from Dr. Rajalakshmi. Can we replace Abhyantara Snehapana with Matra Basti for 3 to 7 days as Purva Karma? Then what will be the impact on lipids in blood?
See, this Matra Basti is a vicharana. Whenever the person is not suitable for the Abhyantara Snehapana, Matra Basti can be opted as one of the alternatives. Now, as for the investigations are concerned, disease investigations are very common, which we are doing. But to assess the procedural effect, once again, as the Matravasti Dravya of the Sneha also going to be, because of the Pachakakri Vushma digestion, thereby whatever the investigations which we are intended to do for the Abhyantara Snehapana are to be continued even for the Sneha Vicharanas which we are going to follow.
Thank you, sir. Next question from Dr. Suhasini. Which are the laboratory investigations to be done before Nasya Karma, sir?
This purposefully I have not considered this Nasya Karma. It is there already in my book. See, the Nasya Karma Jatrudhagata Vyadhis. when we are using the Jethro Pragata Vyadis, X-ray is one of the things. But out of the investigations, DC hemoglobin is a mandatory for everybody, everything. AEC, DC, and HB percentage. When we are going to do, we get lots of the answers. All the Nasya Karma are also within the same thing. If possible, even the saliva examination is one more thing which I considered. It is not possible to analyze the saliva every time. We have to really focus on the saliva examination, saliva biochemical examination. The analytical examination of the saliva, if it is going to be brought out as a test, then it is going to give lots of the answers. In Nasya Karma, we have to go with the HB percentage, DC, AEC, X-ray, and the saliva examination. These five we have to consider.
Thank you, sir. Last question from Dr. Sureka. Sir, is there any biochemical changes in blood before and after the Pachana and Deepana?
Absolutely, there will be. That is the reason why we are considering. See, there are much of the investigations has been done. I recollect when I am in Gadak college from the Kai Chikitsa and Panchakarma, there were lots of the enthusiastic researches has been brought out. After this Snehapana, HB percentage has been increased on the 7th day of the Snehapana. Before, if it is of the 3.7, a Mandadni, Panduta, for such patient, when the Murchita Krita Pana has been done on the 7th day, hemoglobin percentage has become 7.8. So, there is a very drastic change. The second, hemoglobin percentage has been raised. Like the same, we were initially thinking of the Snehapana can make the blood cholesterol increase. Very unfortunately, the modern people disappointed as there is no cholesterol increase was observed. Rather, the cholesterol has been dropped. The total lipid profile has been brought to normal for the obese patients when he has been given with this Snehapana. That's why much of the Ayurvedic procedures, Ayurvedic medicines, I do not say they are the hara, but they are going to bring to the normalcies. That's what I am trying to speak. Ayurveda brings the altered disease conditions to the normal conditions rather than just treating. If at all we are considering it as a treatment, it is a treatment. Now, we have to go with the Deepana Pachanas. For them, there also Deepana Pachana has to be enumerated through hemoglobin percentage, differential count, very commonly, and saliva examination.
Thank you, sir. Further, there are no questions, sir. Now I vote over HOD, sir, for vote of thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you very much, sir. May I audible?
Yes, please.
I thank all the participants of today's session, and special thanks to my Guruji, Dr. K.S.R. Prasad, sir. Actually, topic is very interesting, and even sir is done his best to deliver his clinical experiences and significance of investigations before Panchakarma. I hope all the participants enriched their knowledge and even their changed their new dimensions. Before execution of Panchakarma, they might have think about some of the necessary investigations which are ideally required. This was the motto of our webinar series because this topic is not covered by any other webinars. And as it is really needed for our PG students and as well as faculty members, I personally requested, sir, why can't you concentrate and why can't you deliver a guest lecture on this topic? Sir is in spite of his busy schedule, he accepted our invitation and he delivered out of his best. For that, really, from heartfelt thanks to you, sir, for your wonderful deliberation. And same time, I extend my wishes to our beloved principal, Dr. Sayyada Athara Fatima ma'am, and as well as all the staffs of TGMC Ballari and my PG students for their contribution. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ananal.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all. We'll end the session now.